Hello, we're group 16, and this is our paper on reducing the PFAS levels in maternal breast milk. So, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, otherwise known as PFAS, are synthetic chemicals that have been used in a wide range of manufactured products since the 1940s. These chemicals were found in household products such as nonstick pans, water-resistant clothing, and even cosmetics. And then also products in the industrial sector, such as firefighting foams and paints. Um, PFAS are also nicknamed forever chemicals because they persist in soil, water, and air. And their presence in the environment and food products still exists to this day. And PFAS have been linked to adverse health effects in humans with a high level of evidence through many epidemiological studies. They have strongly been linked with thyroid disease, cholesterol and insulin dysregulation, liver damage, kidney cancer, testicular cancer, and delays in fetal development.
All right. So we came up with this intervention through using a logic model. So we thought about breastfeeding women and if they monitor their type of water consumption, um, and then switch their water consumption to a low PFAS containing source like purified bottled water, then ultimately their newborns that are breastfeeding will have less PFAS exposure and better outcomes in life. And so we really wanted to monitor and see what if changing a simple thing like water consumption could help um, their children in the long run. So our unit of analysis um, is newly breastfeeding women who had just given birth within the last week. We chose to include women in the last week to see if the intervention of changing bottled water choice had the most effect, and retesting at various intervals, and decided to exclude women who have given birth much longer than a week, or who decided that they weren't going to breastfeed or couldn't breastfeed. Our ecological level of intervention is at an interpersonal level because we're looking at a family relationship.
Okay, so another property of our intervention was the duration, frequency, and intensity. So we decided to do it at 3 months postpartum, giving 2 liters of purified bottled water per day. And our values would be obtained at the beginning, starting at 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months postpartum to test for the overall concentration. The intervention itself, some goals surrounding the intervention were focusing on an area with high PFAS concentrations in the local water supply. We want to be able to focus on individuals in those areas to try to reduce the amount of PFAS that are found in those individuals over time. We wanted to compare the PFAS concentration overall of the local water supply to the bottled water that was used in our intervention. We want to compare any potential health changes in both the mother and infant with and without the intervention. And then also we want to measure the amount of PFAS in the breast milk of mothers with and without undergoing the intervention, as well as serum PFAS levels in both the mothers and infants. The levels that were going to be recorded, as mentioned earlier, we're going to be at the 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month periods. The overall goal was to lower the exposure of PFAS concentration in the newborns through changing the type of water that moms did consume and monitoring it at a consistent basis to track how those levels would change over time in both the serum and the breast milk. Our first objective was to educate moms on the importance of monitoring the type of water that they ingest in order to decrease the overall level of PFAS that is consumed. And our second objective was, of course, to lower the concentration of PFAS that the newborns were exposed to within the first year of life.
So now I'm going to talk about the process and outcome evaluation. So process evaluation is an important component that helps us ensure that the intervention was implemented as intended and we got the desired outcomes. So in this simulated public health intervention, where we're trying to reduce the PFAS levels in maternal breast milk, we'll be using service utilization monitoring, where the team will maintain a record of the number of mothers who switched to purified water during their pregnancy and postpartum period. The team will also collect information for the reasons that mothers decided to switch or not switch to purified water, and if they encounter any challenges while making this switch. We'll also monitor the program organization, where we'll compare the planned activities of the intervention with the actual activities that were performed during the intervention. The team will also maintain a record of the steps that were taken to implement this intervention, including, for example, recruitment of participants, distribution of purified water, and any other logistics involved. There will also be stakeholder accountability, where the team will provide regular updates on the progress of the intervention to stakeholders. These stakeholders can include like funders, partners, and community members. This will primarily be done through like progress reports, newsletters, and presentations. We also want to ensure that this intervention will be replicable. So we'll document the intervention in detail to enable replication by other researchers or public health practitioners. This can be done through methods such as recording recruitment, intervention delivery, data collection, and analysis. Lastly, we want to collect data on the effectiveness of the intervention. So we will which will be used to determine if the intended outcomes were achieved. This will primarily be done by measuring the PFAS levels in breast milk of mothers who switched to purified water, and then comparing that to mothers who did not switch. In terms of outcome evaluation, this is also a critical component because it assesses the extent to which the program's intended outcomes were achieved. One way we'll be doing this is by comparing the pre and post-intervention measures. So we'll collect a baseline data on the PFAS levels in the breast milk of all participants. After the intervention, the team will collect the post-intervention data on the PFAS levels, and then it will be compared between mothers who switched to purified and did not switch to purified. And we'll do statistical analysis to determine if there was a significant difference between the intervention and comparison groups. This will also account for confounding factors like age, BMI, and other potential risk factors for PFAS exposure, for example, the location and such. Lastly, we will evaluate any potential adverse effects of the intervention, such as increased cost, inconvenience, and any other unintended consequences. And just to wrap up in conclusion, PFAS are synthetic chemicals. They tend to last a long time in our bodies, and they can have adverse effects on the mothers and the babies. So this intervention intends to reduce these levels and hopefully have fewer adverse effects in both moms and newborns. Thank you.